We're live.
What's up, people?
Episode 9.
Special
All right.
guest tonight,
Here we
Mr.
are.
Bizzarro. Thanks for joining, man.
Hey, my pleasure, man. It's good to be on.
This should be a blast.
The next natural progression of the vinyl community.
That's what we're hoping for.
Yeah, really.
Makes sense to me.
And like we're saying, you guys live pretty close to each other, actually. So
Yeah,
it's kind of cool.
yeah, we can make it happen easy.
I think probably about 30, 35 minutes away from each other.
So you guys probably know all the same stores and bands and all kind of local stuff.
Probably from the old days.
Street.
Yeah, I don't know about nowadays. I don't know maybe about the local bands today, but
yeah, well,
if there is such a thing.
Well, local shops in South Street, we got that, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Shady Dog where George works, Aaron?
No, I haven't.
We're out in the burbs. Out on the main line.
Yeah, what kind of stuff you specialize in?
Used, basically.
Used.
That's it.
No, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean we
you
have
guys
some
do RSD.
Oh yeah, we do. But
you
we
do?
Oh yeah, we do it. We do RSD like we don't order everything. You just can't. So we try to order what we think our customers would dig.
Mm-hmm.
And and some of the big stuff too. But I mean, as far as like the little independent stuff, you just can't order everything. It's impossible, especially for guys like us.
A good list. Yeah, no, it's a pretty good list.
Yeah, this year, I mean, I went through it and I wrote down probably like 10 things like I always do. And then I usually sit on those for a couple days and then look back. And I think there's like 3 that I absolutely like must have. And the rest, just, if I get them, I get them,
Well, do you have a list? Are you allowed to tell anybody what the list is of what you got, or how's that work?
I mean, we have no idea. Like we put the order. We got the main list, I guess, just under 2 weeks ago. Or right around 2 weeks ago, and we did it that day because I think when all this virus shit started, we kind of had an idea like, all right, this is not going to be good a month from now, so let's let's get the list in and deal with, because right at that time it was like they were starting to talk about the spread of the virus and what they were going to do as far as closing schools that early, and it was just like, I hope we don't have to do this shit. So the list ended up being
now it's been pushed
36 pages long or something like that.
Jesus.
It's huge. And now it's been pushed to what, June
20th.
Yeah.
Right.
If I mean, in all reality, the way it's looking like, I don't trust any of this shit right now. So if June 20th, I'll be happy as hell if it hits June. That'll be the first day that I'm actually happy that it's Record Store Day if it's June 20th. Because I'll know that means like all this shit's kind of over with, or at least on the way out,
Shit, I heard tonight they're closing all non-essential up around you guys, right?
Yeah, 8 o'clock, everybody had to be closed.
Wow.
Yeah. Jersey's starting to get hit too.
Yeah, because they made the decision last weekend that non-essential would be closed, but a lot of places like where we are, we closed right away, like Monday, because it's just not worth it. And all the strip that we're on in the little neighborhood that we're in, like a couple of the bars closed, the restaurants closed, a little deli up the road closed. So we're like, what's the point, because we're not one of those walk-in kind of shops where people are just strolling around all the time. It's not that kind of neighborhood. It's like, I wish it was, because we probably get more foot traffic in the door. But I mean, if this thing lasts, I'm till the end of April, we'll have to close the store for good.
Really?
Oh yeah, it'll kill us for sure.
Wow.
Yeah, sure.
We're not local. We still got to pay our taxes this month. We still have to pay our fucking rent this month, plus all the other utility shit. And it's just, if there's nothing coming in the door, there's nothing to pay for it. So, unless the government does some kind of like forgiveness thing for the next couple months, which they still might.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of landlords and shit are saying, "Don't worry about rent."
Yeah.
Wow, I'm not hearing that at all.
No,
I'm not getting any breaks. I did hear mortgage people are getting breaks on their mortgage, maybe 90
maybe
days.
that's what it was. Well, there was a news story here that the guy owned an apartment building. He wasn't charging anybody rent for the next couple months.
Wow. Hey, Aaron, I think you're froze up.
Yeah, I did. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, let me back out. Hold on. Can you do something about it, George, or no?
Probably not.
I don't think. Wait, let me try this. Oop.
If he goes out and back in, that may work.
Yeah. So,
yeah, I tell you, dude, wife and I were talking about it. It's like, even when shit kind of chills back out, I think society's going to be changed after this. Like the way we do stuff is going to be changed. I think little stuff like movies and all that kind of thing, theaters may go away. Yeah, that might end up going away pretty soon. People realize they can, just put it on the internet and pay for it. And
well, I think Sony's actually, is it Sony or somebody's doing that this weekend?
Yeah, I think Universal's putting like Invisible Man on.
Yeah, it's like $20 straight shot.
That's a little much, I think, but yeah, whatever. They'll have to figure out the pricing.
Well, you figure if you and Julie go, you're going to pay $24 just to get in the joint.
Yeah, that's true.
He disappeared again.
Yeah, he might have went out and back in.
I bet she's getting his laptop.
But yeah, it's pretty wacky. Not to dwell on that stuff, but
there he is.
Oh, my back.
Yeah,
looking good now.
My choppy. Look choppy.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, but maybe that'll stop you from freezing, though.
Yeah, that's good. Well, let's roll through it here. See how it goes.
Yeah.
All right. So.
All right, I can switch over to my PC if I have to.
Okay.
But I got pretty good signal, so I don't know, man.
Yeah, you don't look bad.
Okay.
All right, so we usually start out showing a record that we think everybody should have at least heard, if not owned, in their collection. So we'll have the guest go first, MrBizzarro.
All right. The record I chose is Robin Trower.
There you go.
Bridge of Sighs.
Right on.
It has James Dewar, Robin Trower, Reg Isidore on drums. And I call this the quintessential 70s rock.
George has his too.
I was just listening to this.
I think it's epic. I think it's a masterpiece straight through.
Yeah,
Dewar brings some real soul vocally to it.
Mid 70s, late 70s. What is that? I can't remember.
That's early.
Oh, so it's early.
I think it's on. Oh, this is the only one that didn't have a date on it. That's why I didn't check it out. I'd say 73, 74.
Oh shit, that's earlier than I thought. I don't know Trower as well as you guys do.
70, I think
74.
74, yeah, because twice removed from yesterday, I think that was 72.
Yeah, I don't have that one.
Anyway, I think that's a solid album. That's pretty much straight through, and you really can't fault it. Solid bass playing, excellent drumming.
Yep.
Excellent guitar playing, some of the most ethereal sounding guitar ever. I mean, you can just get lost in that guy's tone.
Right on.
Just a killer for me. It's an album that everybody should own, and if you haven't owned it, you should at least know it.
I definitely have a copy.
Don't own it, shame on you.
I need to pull it and spin it, man. I haven't spun that thing forever. And I definitely don't know it as well as you guys do.
Yeah, I could listen to Trower for days, man. I've had the pleasure of seeing him live, and he's got quite a style, and the guy just gets lost in the music, man. It's excellent to see him live.
Right
It
on.
just disappears, you know.
Cool. All right, George, you want to go?
Yep. Mine is my essential, just because I've been on a kick lately. Trayvon Grace from the top.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah.
Now, did the documentary get you going on him, or?
Well, I mean, I've always been a huge top fan, like from the first 3 or 4 records, and then even like stuff in the '90s. But that record,
yeah, that's a killer.
Yeah, but when I watched the documentary last week, I was just like, all right, now. Now, do you guys remember in the '80s when they remixed or remastered all the ZZ Top records for CD? That Frank Beard went back and did all the drumming for those records.
Wow. No. So
yeah, if you listen, like
actual drums,
I think so, man. Because I was listening to one of the compilation CDs not too long ago in the car. Probably the one like with Viva Las Vegas was big for them. So I'm going mid '90s maybe. And I popped that disc in, and the drums, they sounded so different. All the old shit sounded like, I don't know, man. I guess if you ever hear any of the remastered CDs, let me know what you think. But it's definitely not the original drum tracks. There's no way.
I mean, I came around to ZZ Top probably like 15 years ago. I mean, I knew all the, the hits and all that stuff. But to me, they were always, because I'm an 80s kid, that early 80s, that I just wasn't that into. I had El Loco. But anyways, this guy at work sold me like a whole box of records, and he had all the 70s stuff in it. And I'm like, well, I don't know if I'm going to keep his ZZ Top stuff. I mean, they're cool and all. And I dropped the needle on one, and I'm like, the fuck? I've been missing out on this, man. I went through all those albums, was like, holy crap, a whole different band, man.
From
the 70s. Yeah, from the 70s to the 80s and on. It was just like, I've been missing out,
Especially the first 3 records, I think, were like the blues rock Texas sound. And then I think they even started getting, like they said in the documentary, like Billy said, they were starting to get sick of that sound themselves.
Yeah. And
started like branching out a little bit. And I guess it didn't do so hot. I don't remember. I was too young at that time, but
yeah, they didn't hit my radar really till, like I said, I had El Loco for some odd reason when I was a kid, and Tube Steak Boogie and all that. Of course, you had to like that, but they didn't really hit my radar until MTV and Eliminator. You know what I mean?
I remember when Legs came out, Sharp Dressed Man. I'm like, who the fuck are these old dudes?
Yeah, no doubt.
Oh shit. But my earliest recollection of ZZ Top was actually my brother and my dad went to go see them. What album was Cheap Sunglasses? George?
That's, that's probably after the live.
Eliminator, is it?
It's the one. Right?
It was that. Yeah, it was that tour. They were touring for that album, whatever album Cheap Sunglasses is on.
I think it is Eliminator.
And they went, and I was really upset because I was 5 years younger than my brother. I was too young to go. They went. My brother comes back, starts busting my balls about how all the fucking lasers, dude, when they were doing that part, the doo-doo, doo-doo, boo, boo. And I got so pissed that he was busting my fucking balls about these lasers. Actually, ZZ Top's been around in my life as long as I can remember because my dad loved them. So,
right on.
Cheap Sunglasses is my earliest recollection of ZZ Top. Wow. Probably because of that. I still fucking hate him because of it.
But yeah, man, I started to listen to those albums, and at one point I was listening to them with headphones, and that's a whole different deal too, man. I mean, those early albums are so raw, guitar-wise, and headphones, man. I mean, you can almost hear Billy stepping on shit. You know what I mean? Pedals and adjusting volumes and rolling shit back. It's like, those are great albums, man. They were a great 70s band.
Yeah.
And then the 80s happened.
I didn't get the 80s. Luckily, by then, I already knew old ZZ Top. So I already had something to base them on, and that was just, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And I remember Frank Beard even talking about it and just kind of off-sided, I kind of side mouth kind of speculated that he really wasn't happy because he wasn't doing anything. They didn't really give him any drums to play, synth, and even the drums were some Simmons samples and really cheesy.
He was the Alex Lifeson of ZZ Top.
Yep.
He was not happy.
Yeah.
I give it to him for not really bringing it up, but he brought it up, I guess, as much as Alex did in Rush, a little bit. Yeah.
They kind of redeemed themselves there, last 10, 15 years.
Their last studio album, I thought, was really good.
Yeah.
Billy Gibbons' last solo record, that blues album, was fucking amazing.
I haven't heard that. What was the ZZ Top with 1,000 Lighters or whatever the hell?
Yeah.
I got to get paid.
Got to get paid. Yeah,
that's a great song.
Yeah,
was that the last studio? That's
like one of the. It's the hookiest blues riff ever.
Yeah,
it wasn't that done like with rap lyrics or something. There was something to do with a rapper with that song, I think.
Oh, I don't know.
I seem to think so, and I might be wrong, but I remember hearing that. And I'm like, wow, I wouldn't have expected that. But that was a good album
with everybody. So
yeah,
but they're in the studio now at Ruben again, doing a new album. So
total respect to those guys, man. Like I said, they're back to it now. Yeah. All right, well, I picked one out.
Frank Beard would. I'm sorry. Go ahead, man. I'm done.
Go ahead. What was you gonna say?
I was gonna say, from a drummer's standpoint, listening to Frank Beard, I'm not really a fan of the type of drums he's playing nowadays. Not his style or his acumen, just the whatever brand he's playing.
Mm-hmm.
They're almost too metal-y. I think these drums are maybe meant for more metal. I miss the tonality in his drums from Trace and Fandango, and shit like that. I love the sound of his drums because they're warm, they're rich, they're prototypical 70s, studio drums. And his drums now, he's using a combination of, not because he can't play, combination of triggers and he's tuning his heads very tight. So it's just not a lot of feel there, in my opinion. I kind of long for that. So maybe getting with Rick Rubin, they'll kind of revert back to the old sound again, and we'll get some of that warmth back.
Do you think some of that is the digital age?
No, I don't. I think it's his age.
Really?
It's his age, and he's trying to. I think he's just pushing it with the youth thing. I think he's almost. It feels to me that he may even be ashamed to be behind a Rogers or an old Premier kit or a Slingerland or something. You don't have to keep with the times in that respect. The technology's advanced in drums for sure, but you still can't beat the sound of a good 70s kit, no doubt.
Look at Billy.
I think he should go back.
Well, I thought
he's not. You don't see him playing a headstockless Getty type of. What was that bass? You know what I mean? He stuck to his guns, so that's a burger.
Peter Criss went through the same shit towards the end of the second stint with Kiss, with the drum triggers and. Like when you went to see him live and watched him play, it looked like he was hardly playing at that point.
Wow.
But that, I think with him, like I said, it's a lot to do with the age of the person too, and Frank Beard I think he's like the same boat as Peter Criss as far as not talent, but limits because of his age now.
Yeah, I
think a lot of the older drummers, you'll hear a lot of these guys starting to trigger their sound or trigger the drums, and just I guess getting old.
It's shocking to me. In his case, it kind of shocked me because Frank was never a power hitter. I always considered him more of a finesse player. Right. That's how he got all that cool ghosting and neat sounds with his snare and stuff. So triggers seem to be, for me, again from a drummer standpoint, seem to be, other than what you could consider them as a tool, you could use it as a crutch because you can't hit, but how hard do you really have to hit a vintage drum to get the sound you need? You could just use miking and things like that to
Well,
take
yeah, I
care
mean,
of your deficiencies if there's a problem with hitting. But again, I agree with George. I think he's just trying too hard and just
yeah,
back up a little bit.
it's a shame, like because these guys they're not young anymore, so they're not, doing what Tommy Lee did in 1981. It's like they can't do that anymore. So
right. No Frank Beard in an upside down cage.
That's what bothered me when I saw the final Kiss tour with all 4 original members, was watching Peter, and I was just like, holy shit, man! Like, I looked at it as just starting to see his age now. Like, all right, these guys are it's real. These guys are getting old,
But wasn't he like 8 or 10 years older than all of them to begin with, right? He was the oldest one, I think.
He was the oldest one, but I'm not sure how much older.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much older.
All right, move on to I'll show my pick. I went a little more obscure, I guess. This band was like late 90s, part of that garage revival thing, which was kind of cool, but I wasn't a huge fan of most of those bands. But these guys, I thought they totally did it right, and they totally did the MC5 version of it, which is Electric Sweat by Mooney Suzuki.
Oh, yeah. I love that record.
God damn, this is a good. If you dig, you ever heard this, Aaron?
No.
If you dig the MC5, it's basically what they sound like. This is an incredible album. These guys were out in New York, and this was actually the second album. I have the first album and the album right after this. The first album's a little more just kind of that garage sound, and the album after that, it was like they were trying to do a little more or something different direction a little bit. But this one was like, if you dig that helicopter sound, it's kind of in there, but it's more that Michigan MC5 Stooges thing going on, man. That's just a great album, and good songwriting. It's hooks and everything.
It's got a real Grand Funk cover feel, like their first album. It kind of reminds me of that color wise.
That orange, yeah. Hey, can you take me full screen?
Just
George?
red and
But yeah, it has that 70s feel, man, and it's an awesome sweaty gatefold.
It is sweaty.
I like that black inside. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
I like the matte it looks like, is it the matte background and the heads and faces are glossy?
Yeah. There's like exactly. There's like a slick feel.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. But you can just tell, man. I mean, these dudes are just sweaty ass rock and roll, and they sound like they look, This is just a great freaking album.
Awesome.
I like the one after that too.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, but it's a little different. It's like they kind of went in a little more, I don't even know what direction to say. They still had the Mooney Suzuki sound, but it was like grown up a little bit. I don't know how that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was the one.
Where are they out of?
New York. I think they started, like, first album was like maybe 97, 96. This is like 99.
Okay. What year?
2000.
99.
Yeah, 2000, right around in there. Yeah. So right on. So if you never heard those 3 albums, check them out. Add them to your collection.
Hey, I'm guilty on one count. I'll be listening to one album.
I'm definitely guilty on the Robin Trower, man. I need to listen to more of him. I have most of his stuff where you could, I don't know how it is now, but you used to be able to pick up his stuff, flea markets all the time. And I did, but I just never put the time into them. I need to.
Right. It's worth it, I'd say.
Yeah. Cool. So now I guess it's boot in the ass.
Boot in the ass segment.
Yeah. We invited Aaron to join in.
These.
Huh?
We need theme songs for all these segments.
We invited Aaron to join in, and he was like, he doesn't have too many boots, but he was going to show you something local.
Yeah, definitely.
So, go for it, brother.
Okay. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, there was a time where I had some boots. One in particular that I remember having was Bonzo's birthday. I don't know if you've heard of that one. I've heard it's a pretty common boot.
Old Zeppelin?
Bonzo's birthday party. Yeah, Zeppelin. I'm sorry. I should have said Zeppelin first. Yeah, it was a boot, and it had a pasted cover with the blue
Old
sleeve.
school. Yeah.
And it had the water stain up the side, and there was a time where I enjoyed having boots. I thinned things down to really condense.
Mhm.
I just want to be able to reach for something and just know that I love it. And so there's been a filtering system, to try to really refine just my personal taste.
Mhm.
So So this is hey George, can you give me full screen, buddy?
Yep.
Okay. This is a band from Philadelphia. They're called Stinking Lizaveta. It's a 3-piece instrumental. 2 brothers. Brother plays bass, and brother plays guitar, and a girl drummer. And they play very, you could call it math rock, progressive. Again, there's no vocals in it, so they really do a good job of filling everything out without having vocals. The guitar player does tend to scream into his pickup on his guitar, so you do hear some singing occasionally.
That's cool.
And these guys again are out of Philadelphia, and you can always see them playing all the clubs in Philly. They do go overseas too, and they have quite a following in the world of music lovers.
So they're active now.
They're still very active. Yeah, this is their most recent album. I believe it's a few years old. This is their most recent one, Journey to the Underworld.
Right on.
And I've been lucky enough to see those guys. Thanks, George.
Yep.
A bunch of times. I've seen them a lot of times right over in Philadelphia, George. So maybe we can meet up sometime and check them out. It's a great show to see live. They're almost the band you want to see live. Of course, there are elements in their albums and their studio stuff that they can't replicate live. So, but you do get the feel and the energy of the musicians when you watch. The drummer is very active. I say she moves around quite a lot. She plays a small kit, and she's just a stellar drummer.
Right on.
Progressive and full of emotion. So if you get a chance to listen, Stinking Lizaveta, I believe that's 4 or 5, album number 4 or 5. I believe maybe album number 5. They're on online on YouTube. You can find them anywhere. So
Cool.
Support your local bands.
Have to check them out.
Yeah.
Right on. What do you got, George?
I got a brand new one. I just got in. Where'd I put it? Oh, here it is. I just got this one in yesterday.
Uh-oh.
Brand new AC/DC one. It's going to be hard. Hold on one sec. There we go.
Brian Johnson era.
Yeah, First Night in Tokyo, 81.
That's cool.
And it's remastered like soundboard, or not soundboard, but radio broadcast.
Right on. How's it sound?
Killer. Surprisingly, because this show's been out forever, like in the bootleg circles, but it's always had like, I don't know if it's always been like a mono mix of it since it was taken from the radio back then or what, but they I don't know, somebody did something to it, but it sounds really good now. The first track's a little bumpy here and there, but after that it clears up pretty good. So
right on.
But they do like What Do You Do for Money, Honey, and Bad Boy Boogie and Sin City with Brian. So it's pretty cool. And there's only 100 copies of this thing.
Wow.
So I got number
what radio shows is it, like BBC or is
well, it's from Japan. It's a Japanese radio show, I guess. It doesn't really say. They used to put like, it doesn't say. But I mean, this thing's been out for, I think it's been called Lightning Over Japan was the bootleg title for years.
Dude, that's the thing with boots. They'll take one show and it'll have 6 different titles and covers.
Yeah.
You find one, you forget you have it, and you pick it up, and you're like, "Fuck, I already got
Well,
this."
I told you last week, like with ACDC,
Uh,
even if it's the 10th time I have the show, if it's like badass, like artwork like this and shit, I'm buying it
yeah.
just to have it for the
You
collection.
were showing some. I'm sorry to interrupt. You were showing some
Okay.
ACDC the other day, right? You were showing that Atlantic Records show, the ACDC one, George. I think George showed the album that he had.
Yeah, we were talking about it, I think. Yeah,
Yeah, we were talking about
Remember that one?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and George pulled his Atlantic LP. And I don't have the LP, just real quick to interject real quick, but I do have this this Bonfire box, CD box.
Yeah.
I remember that. That's cool.
And this has that album that you were showing. I was still jealous you have the vinyl, but I do have that on CD. So
that was such a great idea for the time, I think, for that radio station to put those guys live on the radio that night. And they had at that point had no following here whatsoever.
Sounded so good. The recording is so good, man.
Yeah. And that was just like live in this little ass studio, you know. And there's another one that they did a year later in Nashville that it wasn't released like that Atlantic Studios one was, but they did like a similar situation where they recorded live in the studio. And that there was like really shitty versions of that for years. And I think within the last 10 years, like a really solid version of that has shown up. And they were doing stuff from like Power Age on that one. It was at like I forget the name of the place, the name of the place they called the venue that they were playing in, but there's definitely no crowd noise on that one.
Dude, how many AC/DC boots do you think you had?
Over 100.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Probably over 100. Right around, I would think. I mean, I'm just guessing. I'm just looking like, how many do you think we could fit in one of these cubes here?
That's like 50 if they're not too thick.
So yeah, 50.
Right?
Probably around.
Do 50?
Yeah, probably around 100 then.
Yeah, you're probably right.
What do you think? You think Reno?
Yeah, that's probably right.
I would say around 100 because I think like in that on the top shelf stuff over there that I have the AC/DC stuff on, like the first 2 cubes are all regular shit, and then the next 2 cubes are all bootleg stuff.
Jesus.
Oh wait, I do have Wild Hearts at the end of that, so maybe not quite 100, probably maybe 75.
Still, that's crazy.
I forgot that I put the Wild Hearts.
Yeah.
Speaking of Wild Hearts, dude, I just got this. Finally, I pre-ordered this last March, and they did the 10th anniversary of the Chutzpah album, and they did the 4 LP box set.
Wow!
Finally came out.
Wow,
that's killer.
So this has got like the album on the first 2 albums are the album. The first 2 LPs of the album and all the B-sides, and the second 2 LPs are like demos and shit from the album.
Wow, that's got to be super limited, right?
Yeah, it's already out of print.
Wow.
Because they have, I don't know if you're familiar with the Wild Hearts online, but their website.
No, I've never really checked it out.
They always do like they did the White album, which the 4 heads on the white, you know that record? Was the album before this one. They did a reissue of it about a year and a half ago. It was like, I don't know, the 15th anniversary, and that's what this one is, or 10th of this one. And they did a campaign where they did like the remastered CD, but it was going to be 2 CDs with all the bonus tracks, and then the 2 LPs with all the bonus tracks.
That's cool when bands do that. You know what I mean? I mean, that's doing something for the fans, you know, not just to make money, you know. So
when they did it, when they announced Chutzpah to do, they had never done a vinyl pressing of that. So I jumped on, I saw what was going to be on it, and I jumped on the box set right away, the 4 LP box. I'm like, I know that's going to go first. that I can't afford it right now, but I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So I did it because it was like around $100 for that, and then I was like, all right, I got to sell some shit because I want the CDs and the 2 LP set, and it's just like AC/DC. I'm a sycophant for the Wild Hearts too, but they could shit in a box and mark the Wild Hearts logo on it, and I'd probably buy it.
All right, I grabbed one. My pick, I just got this one too, just like you. Iron Maiden, Xmas 1980, Christmas 1980.
Wow.
Yeah, I got my eye on that one on eBay right now, bro.
Dude, oh man, this Metal Mania is who's doing these.
Yeah.
Everything they've done so far has been great. And I was a little like sketchy on this. It's like, man, that's 1980. I'm wondering how good that's going to sound. It sounds freaking great, man. And it's nice 2 LP gatefold.
Well, I was going to tell you. Go ahead. No, I was going to tell you something. Is that one of the colored vinyl ones, or did you get black?
This is clear.
Clear. All right, cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Nice label.
Yeah, cool. Look at that inner label, man.
Yeah, okay. This is MMR3. So Metal Mania 3. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7.
So you have 5?
5, yeah. What is 5?
This one.
No, that's the fucking one I'm missing, I think.
I got.
Oh, man.
I got this with the AC/DC.
Oh, that's killer, dude. That's the one I'm missing. I haven't seen that pop up anywhere yet.
I haven't listened to it yet. Oh, Greeno, I think Hell's Headbangers has it right now.
Really? I'm going over after the shit.
Because I was on there today and they had the Queensryche one.
Mm-hmm. So there's a Queensryche, Ozzy,
and I think this one.
Sister, Maiden.
Yeah, they definitely had this one.
Okay.
But I think there is another Motorhead one as well.
Oh man.
With like a white print instead of the gold or whatever.
Right. And where's that from? Where's that recorded at?
Newcastle, England, March 22nd, 1982.
Right on.
Yeah, the Iron Fist tour.
So
is that a printed OB strip?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
printed
label,
on. Okay.
No, it's
it's
sash.
It'll move.
Oh, it's real? Okay.
Yeah.
Everything they put out has those.
And this label too is cheaper than most of the bootleg vinyl that's out there.
Yeah. So, dude, I mean, I know Aaron, like you said, you don't pick up many boots or whatever, but it's crazy. Like right now, bootlegs are like just going through the roof. I see them everywhere now, and everybody's doing like really nice, packaging and pressings. I would say in the past, I was like sketchy sometimes about boots because you don't know if you're getting a good recording or some goddamn guy had a Walkman in his pocket kind of thing.
Right.
But it's like, I would say 90% of what I picked up, I've been completely happy with. 10% was like, I could have done without this one, but I'll keep it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Everything's pretty good right now. So
I guess audio quality has always been the issue personally for me. And
it was me too. Yeah, definitely. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still try and look for radio shows and soundboard recording. Yep. But for the most part, everything they're doing sounds good so far.
Cool.
So, right on. So I know, let's jump in, talk to Aaron a little bit. Like whenever we have anybody on for the first time, Aaron's a old school VC dude. I'm sure everybody knows. So just kind of interview him a little bit, talk about your background, and just say, how did you get into music to begin with?
I think I was pretty much born into it, man. It's all around the family. Dad was a blues player all his life, blues guitar and sang, played harmonica. He was in bands before I was born, rocking around in clubs.
Do you have any recordings of your father?
I don't have any recordings. I have a band picture of him in a band called The Extortionists
That's
from
cool.
like 1962 or something, man. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's cool.
He was, he painted his own sign. He was what they call an old school sign painter and pinstriper.
Mm-hmm.
So he had his own sign. He made his own sign. And the Extortionists wore all white suits with black ties.
That's cool.
And they all had, he had his wide body guitar, and the drummer had his sticks. Menace holding his menacing sticks. And it's interesting. Yeah.
I'm just thinking of a blues band playing in bars in white suits and how long those white suits last, man.
White suit, black tie.
Holy crap.
And a lot of balls. It must have taken a lot of balls to do that.
Beer
I heard
stains.
they played a lot of covers, of course, but they had some originals, and from what he told me, they scared some people with some of the shit they're writing. So I don't know what he was doing.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was on. He may have been cranked up or something. I don't know. Who can say? But yeah, it was all around me, man. My mother played guitar, acoustic guitar. Of course, my dad was in bands. My brother has played his entire life, and he's still in 3 active bands right now.
Wow.
And he's 5 years. He's 52 now, so he's still jamming, and music is his life. So you could say it's genetically ingrained in me, man. I was just born right into music. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So
What
my
band
earliest recollections.
What band's your brother in now?
My brother is in a long-standing metal band called Vicious Circle. They're I'd call them speed or
Vicious Circle. Wait,
is that the old 80s Vicious Circle? Welcome to
there's
Circle. No shit.
No, they're from Jersey. It's a Jersey-based Vicious Circle. I'm sure there are probably 30 of them around.
Right.
Because it's a cool name. But they're like thrash, really heavy. And they just did a reunion like last year where they played a couple shows. He's in like a bar band where they play just rock.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's working with another band doing some rock, trying to get that band out to play some gigs and stuff. So he's completely active and always busy with music. So I couldn't get away from it, man. It was everywhere.
yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah. My first records, I still remember my first 2 records. I had 45s, and one was Blue Suede Shoes 45, and the other one was Big Bad John. You remember that one?
Yeah, of course.
Big Bad John. He fell down a well or something. Anyway, I had this flip top 45 player where when you flip the lid open, it turned on. When you put the lid down, it would turn on. And going to AC/DC real quick, we've been talking about AC/DC. In the mid 70s, my Nana would come and pick me up, and I'd spend a weekend with her. And Nana was so fucking hip, dude. Nana took me to Kmart, and I still have them here. She bought me anything I wanted, any record I wanted.
Wow.
So some of these records that Nana bought me, Dirty Deeds, done dirt cheap.
There you go.
Yeah. AC/DC. I have a few AC/DCs from the day, from those Kmart trips.
Damn, we all
And how
need
hip was fucking Nana to say, yeah, take this album that has a song called Big Balls. Sure. Nana was hip, man. She had an open mind. She was awesome. So
half my
all the way back, man.
My early Kiss collections because of my grandmother. She did the same thing. We would go to Kmart. It was right across the street, really. And she's like, you go ahead and get a couple albums for yourself. Like, okay.
Yeah. How cool, man.
Mine did the same thing. Kiss records too.
She's like, oh, they look good. That's what she would say.
Yeah. So I collected. I'd say I was thinking about it because I know you asked the question. I I collected vinyl from those early days, like mid 70s, probably to not very long. I'd say maybe 83 or 84 when cassettes started really coming in, and I like carrying my boombox outside and scaring people with venom and shit like that. So
Yeah.
I moved on to tapes, and I bought cassettes probably until CDs came out, and then I bought CDs for a while until maybe 2000
Mhm.
when I started buying vinyl again, active, going on eBay when you could buy shit for just so dirt cheap, and you type in lot, like 10 years lot 10 years after, and you'd buy like 8 or 7 or 6 or whatever, a whole instant collection of like 10 years after. So that's when I started getting back into it again, and it's been fun, man. It gets stale after a while, and you got to find new ways to expand, and keep your love and passion going for it. So, I spill over into other formats. I have a decent 8-track collection that I use as kind of a palate cleansing, so to speak, when things get stale and you can't find anything on the racks at the local place, and well, maybe I could find a couple carts to take home, and that's turned itself into a pretty decent collection. I maybe talk some other time about that. 8 tracks, whatever. I got a decent collection of 8 tracks, Zeppelin, and some rare stuff like Exuma and James Brown. But it helps to spread the monotony out a bit and make it not so boring.
Now, do you still have your cassettes? Or did you all?
I have some cassettes. I have probably a dozen back here, like the ones that I've always loved the most that I've had. I traded a bunch off to somebody that was just in love with cassettes, and I've got a couple crates, some milk crates downstairs in the garage of cassettes. But that's like a format that I've just kind of let go for some reason. It's not very appealing to me. So CDs are coming back a little bit, but that's kind of boring for me too. RSD, on the other hand, I haven't done a record store day trip since the 421, 2013. I had to look on the bag. And that was the last record store day I did because I didn't really like the lists. But this year, I'm really intrigued with the lists, and I've never had a list so long of once. So I'm really excited about that. I'm sorry to get off subject, but yeah, just kind of riffing.
Right on. Yeah, I'm weird with record store day too. Like I don't partake, you know what I mean? But I'll go out like the next day or two, and if there's cool shit left over, I'm cool. I'll pick it up.
Yeah.
But I'm not big on the instant collectible part of it or whatever. But
I still just
it's only worked out a couple times in my opinion, as far as instant collectibles go. I've only really scored a couple times in all the years I've done RSD with shit that actually ends up going up in price. So, but I think this year actually there are a few there that I think are actually going to end up being instant collectibles again. And
it seems like
I'll go ahead and let one of them go. It's Mahogany Rush is releasing their real live volume 1. I think it was released in 2001. I have like a double CD set of it. They're releasing it on double vinyl, and they're only doing 1,000.
Wow!
So that's big on my list. Another one is the Obsessed Incarnate. They're doing an Incarnate expanded LP that I want to really get in on too, and that's really low. And there was another band I think I shared with you, Greeno. I forget it off the head. I got it on my list. But
I was
they're only doing like 500 of those, so.
I'll say I think you're freezing up again.
Yeah.
Or are you just getting real choppy?
No.
You're catching up. You're good.
There you go.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, George, correct me if I'm wrong, but don't most of those record store day records just come out later? Especially if they're just like kind of regular releases to begin with.
Well, what I found over the years is a lot of the stuff on vinyl, on like full length, especially the full length stuff, a lot of it's either reissue or a lot of it is stuff that you can find in various box sets by that artist. Now, like the Ramones this year is putting out It's Alive 2 for record store day. Now It's Alive 2 is probably, I haven't looked, but I would imagine since they just released It's Alive the box set, one of those CDs in there, I would imagine, is probably the vinyl pressing of that.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're doing stuff like that where, I don't have the It's Alive box set just because I'd rather have the studio stuff, but it's one of those things like, do I need it? I'll buy the It's Alive 2 by itself.
Yeah.
Because I have It's Alive, like I have the regular one.
Yeah.
But that's what I find. If they like I know another big one this year is going to be that Fleetwood Mac Rumors, alternate Rumors it's called.
Yeah.
And it's just
yeah, I heard about that.
10 songs, like alternate takes from that album. But I think they released a Rumors box set not too long ago, maybe a year ago or so. And I'm sure all that stuff's on that box set. But this is the first time it's on vinyl, So you get a lot of that. You get a lot of crossover stuff that's not necessarily unreleased, but it is on vinyl.
Well, the one time I remember I actually went was for the year or the day they did the Iron Maiden's Brave New World on black vinyl, because I have an OG, but it's a picture disc, Right. It's like, it'd be cool to have it on black vinyl. So I go, and of course there's a huge line, and I get in there and everything's gone, and I'm like, well, this is what I knew would be a waste of time. But then it was like 3 months later, and they're just like, here, you can order it. It's out. It's just like, why worry about doing? And that kind of was like, fuck record store day, man. I'm not doing all that shit.
What I mean? Now they're called. Yeah, I think like you, a lot of people were upset that they would buy or stand in line and maybe even pay more than when it would be reissued or whatever. You know what I mean? So what they started doing on the list, I forget what they call them, because now they have like a non-regional list, which is like, or no, they have a regional list, which is like bands on the East Coast, I guess. Because I noticed like some titles on the West Coast might vary a little bit, because it's like they're considered regional releases or whatever. But they had they also did this thing where it was like another section where it was like first release or something like that. So basically telling you, the first release is Record Store Day, but eventually they will be released.
Oh, okay. So what's the point then, kind of? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that's the only reason why they were doing that now is because people are like, exactly, what's the fucking point? We'll just release the shit now so we don't have to look like fucking assholes waiting in line at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
Well, doesn't that apply to don't they separate those, like an RSD release and then just release a standard? Like I did a Kickstarter recently for Presidents of the USA. Remember that band?
Yeah.
We did a lump. Well, they wanted some funding so they could repress the album, the self-titled one, with lump and all that on it.
Yeah.
And I went on there and supported them, and they wanted $25,000. They ended up getting like $340,000. So
holy shit!
I think it covered their $25,000. And what they're going to do there is the Kickstarter people get a certain variant, like a colored variant, and then they're going to release it again just on regular black. And I was curious if that applies sometimes to RSD, George, where they'll tell you there's 1,000, but then after RSD they'll release 5,000, and it's still kind of collectors, but
they're definitely
they definitely do
like the colored vinyl variants for Record Store Day. Not so much lately, I don't think. I think when it first started they did more. I'm trying to think like lately what's been released Record Store Day, like colored vinyl, but I think the latest.
How about the numbers? The run numbers when they say 1,000. Do you know if they'll do like 1,000 RSD and then later just say, now we're going to release 5,000 black?
Yeah,
do they do that?
Didn't they do that with the Maiden?
They did that with the Maiden, and they did it with the Ramon stuff too. Because the Ramon stuff's all numbered on the back as far as Record Store Day goes. And I think when they reissue some of that, well, they've only reissued one thing for the Ramones since of all the Record Store Day titles. They reissued that one from last year, maybe, or 2 years ago, the Live at the Roxy or something like that. You can buy on your own now. But most of them are gold stamped, like numbered on the back.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So that's where the instant collectible thing comes in to me, because anybody in the right mind would, if they had 2 copies of that and one had gold stamp numbers on it and one didn't, and the gold stamp number was $50 and the other one was 20. If you pay $50 for that gold stamp number one, you're a moron.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, is that what's happening? I don't know.
Well, no, I mean,
it is in a way, I think. Yeah.
Well, now in the older Ramones, like I said, they've only released one of the Ramones Black Friday titles.
Yeah.
Outside of Black Friday or outside of Record Store Day. So I don't know what that, price wise, I don't know the case between the two of them, but.
Well, I mean, I'm saying any record like that.
Your idea is right on. I agree 100%. I think that's exactly what RSD is about for the most part. It's either getting an album early or getting an album that somebody else is only going to be able to get on black. Right. So, there you have that whole thing to hold over their fucking heads, right?
Yeah, I'll take the black vinyl. I like that better.
I do too.
But sometimes, sometimes, occasionally, they'll release an album and only press 1,000 if they say they're only going to do 1,000, and that's when you got to jump on it.
Yeah, that's cool. If they're really going to do that, totally understand. Like this album right here, reissue, 250 copies worldwide. That's it.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's cool. I get that.
Right.
But if you're going to put something out and say it's 1,000 copies until 6 months from now when we actually reissue it for everybody, you know what I mean? That's fun.
I mean, that's the labels. I mean, who does that the most is Sony. Sony did that the most, and that's right. They don't do it too much anymore. But if you remember when they did that whole early Aerosmith reissue campaign, they were doing like 3 albums at a time. The vinyl reissues, the 180 grand ones. They all started. The first 2 or 3 years started on Record Store Day. So if you were at Record Store Day and bought those early Aerosmith, like the first 3 records the first time, they were all numbered. Like I have all those numbered. Wow. And then Sony that summer reissued them regularly. But
there you go. It's like,
yeah, but I mean, you got the opportunity. You weren't paying any more at Record Store Day.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, as long as it's the same thing.
Usually Sony, they were like $20 each or whatever,
Okay, but now in the aftermarket though, if there's what I'm saying is if there's somebody out there willing to pay extra.
Oh, I know, but they do. And a lot of guys like stuff like that goes overseas. I find a lot, but
I don't know. Evidently, I'm just a cranky old bastard on this show.
You are, man.
You know what? It's like I want my vinyl black. I open all my albums. I don't keep them sealed.
Nope.
Fucking
How dare you?
And I don't care if it's numbered or not. I just want a copy of it, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, whatever.
You're sitting in a fucking wheelchair right now.
Man. Fuck you all.
This nurse, she keeps
time to wheel Greeno back to his room.
Somebody left a message or a comment on one of our videos like Greeno's just turned into a grumpy old bastard. I don't get a lot of this shit, man. It's like
Greeno, so they wheeled me back to my room and get any chocolate pudding.
That's it.
Like throwing shit out the window and God damn it.
I don't know. I think people take this stuff too serious. It's like, man, it's just records to listen to and fun, and you know what I mean. It's like,
well, that's the problem.
I understand the hunt, man. I mean, I've paid money for records too and all that, but it's at the same time, I'm not paying extra for something that has a number on it because this one doesn't, and it's the exact same thing. That's just stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I
I
know
get it.
what I like about Record Store Day the most, and I hate. I mean, you know me. I'm not a huge fan of Record Store Day just because we have to dish out a ton of money. But I think the thing I enjoy about it the day of, like I always talk shit on it up until the day, but the day when we open the doors and see everybody flowing in and just like a free for all. But I think the best thing for me is the little kids in there finding what they want. Like I keep an eye
Yeah.
and seeing like the high school kids or the middle school kids like pull up like the Hendrix album and they're like freak out and go right to the counter. That's what I like about it, you know.
How cool.
Fuck 'em.
Somebody's nana bringing them in there to buy it. Right? Fuck yeah, dude.
Kids. Fucking kids.
Fucking kids.
Dude, you have to watch Tom Segura on Netflix, man.
Never seen him.
Stand-up comedian Tom Segura.
Yeah.
He's me and you for sure. He has a bit in there where he's like, don't you just hate people? You know, like he's one of those guys.
Yeah.
He's like, my son came over. He's like, what if you were just like, I've met enough people in my life. He's like, my son comes over. He's like, Dad, I want you to meet Steve. And he's like, fuck Steve.
There you go.
I'm like, that's me. I can't wait. I know. He's like, I know everybody I need to know.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think the only people making money off of RSD truly are the record companies. I don't see how a store besides pulling in business could actually make money off of RSD. So I think the record companies love it. I think everybody else is getting fucking boned, honestly. But
it's tough.
Like I said, I get something that's going to be super rare, and I'm never going to see it again. I got to try to get it if I can, you know. Considering I haven't participated in, I don't know, 7 years or some shit, you know, I'm okay with it. I may be grumpy like you, Greeno, in a lot of respects, you know.
Yeah.
But I got to try to get out there and get just these two, and then I'll be okay.
Yeah. No, I mean, don't get me wrong. I have some of the stuff, and like I said, I usually go like a day or two or whatever later, and I'll go through the leftovers, and they definitely issue some cool stuff. But it's like, man, you know, the whole. To me, it's like I've seen that instant collectible mentality kill too much other shit, like comic books and everything.
Baseball cards.
Sure, you don't want to let it obsess your collecting, you know, or define you as a collector. You know? But if it's something you truly love, you know, if you truly love it and you've wanted it or it's never existed until just now, and they're saying it's just a tiny little bit, you know, what are you going to do? There's an attachment, historical attachment that I feel when I listen to a couple of those albums I want on my list. So I like to have those as kind of to have the ability to recapture some memories, some really good memories. So it's an emotional purchase as well as an investment, I call it, because how else am I going to legitimize spending all this fucking money on records? Just melt them all down and make me a coffin out of records and just bury me in my vinyl coffin.
What was that, George?
One of the things I want to pick up is the Skid Row. They're finally reissuing that Slave to the Grind on vinyl.
Yeah, like that. I mean, I would definitely, if I'm out the next day or two after, I would pick that up. You know, like I said, I
like that record. I like that record more than the first album.
I mean, I don't know. I'm ready for the great vinyl crash.
It's coming.
I hope.
Right now with all this shit going on, right now is a good time to start buying.
I mean, I hate to say that with, you guys in your shop, George, but it's like, as a collector, I'm like, let it crash, man. I'll be happy to go back to flea markets and spend $1 on this shit.
Hey, dude, this is our 27th year, man. We've been through all this shit before. Right. So that's why we have the budget bins and cheap vinyl. So
even when it crashes, there's still going to be people out there, looking for stuff. But I've been wrong. I didn't think it would last this long. This blows
our average vinyl in our shop's $4 to $7 for a used one for your normal, Mm-hmm. And then we have like $1 and $2 bin that they're not scratched, but they might have like one blemish on it. But anything scratched, we don't even take back. Like even for that bin, I've been going through budget bins forever, and it's like they should be giving me money to take some of the albums out of those things, I refuse to have bins like that in our shop. I'm just not doing it. So
That's a big thing for me with shops. Like if I go to a shop and I find a couple records I like or I want, and I pull them out, and they're just like, oh man, it just turns me off. It's like I don't even want to look at the rest of your shit.
right.
It's like I think that's a very important thing for.
Well, that's one thing I think they've always been known for is the conditioning of everything.
Yeah.
Dave's always been like that. Mike, I've always been like that as well. But I think, it shows because now, we have our diehard customers that come in and drop crazy money, and because they know they don't even have to look at it. They know.
I was just getting ready to say, I bet you guys know shops that you go to, the ones you have to check everything.
Mm-hmm.
And the ones you can just take up to the counter and
go. Absolutely.
That shop, you don't have to worry about that shop. You got to watch.
Honestly, dude, and I'm not saying this to slap myself on the back or pat saying we're the greatest store around. We're the only store that, if I guess I'm biased because I work there, but I feel like they were even before I started working there, they were the only store that I didn't have to check the vinyl. I knew what I was getting. Just because I've known Dave since I was 13 or 14 when I used to take the train to Bryn Mawr. He used to work for a guy, Plastic Fantastic was the name of the record store, and they were like the biggest in this part of the area for used and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I've known him since I was 13 or 14, and when Plastic had moved from Bryn Mawr to Ardmore, he left. He got a tiff with the owner, and then I didn't see him for years.
I remember you were telling.
Yeah, I walked out of the news agency over up the street here, and I'm like, wow, they opened a new record store. I walk in, and there's Dave behind the counter. I was like, the fuck, man? He's like, he always calls me kid. He's like, yo, kid, where you been? Like, where you been, man?
Damn.
But he had opened a shop.
We've got a local store around here. I'm sorry, go ahead, man.
No, I say he had opened a shop towards Philly more. That's why I hadn't seen him, because he was down the other end. He was down towards the city. And then gradually, as they started expanding, they started moving out west more because I don't know why. I guess wouldn't be cheaper rent, but maybe for bigger places. But they ended up in my neighborhood. Mm-hmm. I've been there ever since. It's like I just started working there on Saturday. He didn't even ask me. I just started going in, started ringing people up. Yeah. He's known me for so long, Like we always did that. Like my buddy drummer Mike, he'll ring somebody up. I have my kids ring up people when I'm there. It's like that. And it's like the old school record store where you got to dig. Not everything's in orders. A lot of it is, but not a lot of it. But that's why I like it that way.
Yeah. We've got a local shop around here. Local to me, it's a half an hour away. It's pretty local, I guess. But they started out pretty good. He came from Delaware, Jupiter Records. I don't know if you might have heard of them, George.
Yep. Yeah, I used to love
Jupiter.
That, man.
Yeah, so they had a Delaware place, and then they moved over here. I don't remember how far back, maybe 4 years or 5 years ago, something like that.
Well, they had both, didn't they? They had the Jersey shop and Delaware.
They had Delaware, and then they expanded to Jersey, and then they closed down the Delaware store and just had Jersey.
Yeah.
And then they opened a satellite place about 4 miles away from the one in Mantua. And then that didn't work out. And now I find out that he's leaving and going back to his original store in Delaware. And I can only attribute it to the fact that the guy, you walk into a store and there are 50,000 records in there. And in your fucking heart that you're going to spend 3 hours looking through there just to be forced to buy something that you wouldn't normally buy because you just fucking invested 3 hours of your time looking through a bunch of shit.
Right.
And it just got worse and worse over time. There was time where, you pluck through and, oh my God, Atomic Rooster. Oh my God, here's the Original Bang. Oh my God, here's Johnny Winter. But now it's just a bunch of shit.
Wow.
And he's not selling anything. You go in there on a weekend and there's fucking 2 people milling around.
Wow.
Huh.
So he's splitting and going back to Delaware, which I was upset at first, but you know, the last time I went was just a few weeks ago. I had to struggle to buy 2 fucking records, so I was,
That's weird.
and I had to
man.
buy
The
incense.
Delaware
You know,
shop
just
is
to feel
always
better.
packed.
It's a shame. It's quality of inventory, man. You
Yeah.
know, when you got a bunch of shit and you're just salting the area or peppering the area with a good one here and then 5,000 later, another good one, and what you got in the front bins is really a representation of what you got in the store in relation to new releases and new arrivals,
Yep.
new releases and stuff. But you can shop that whole store of however many thousands and thousands of records just by walking into the front door and taking a 6-foot walk on either side and then fucking walking back out. And it really sucks because it saps all the love that I have for crate digging. When you hope to find something awesome, I don't carry a list in my head of what it is I want, but when I see it, I know I fucking want it, and I don't see shit in there anymore. And that was the place in particular that I would spend all my time looking for vinyl. I wouldn't find anything, but they had a decent 8-track collection. So that's where I ended up buying more 8-tracks than I bought vinyl for the past couple years, unfortunately. So
Sounds like a lazy owner. You know what I mean? Just
it's a bummer, dude. You never see the owner there. It's always some fucking 20-year-old dude going to fucking school for law or fucking tax accounting or some shit, and he's got sideburns, so he knows all the fucking vinyl. You don't know nothing, you know?
right.
And you're fucking you're privileged to come in, and you should buy from him because, you know,
What's up, Sideburns?
just because I called him fucking Rory Gallagher for years. This fucking dude, he had the Rory Gallagher sideburns, and he had the hair like Rory Gallagher, and so I called him Rory Gallagher for a couple of years. Oddly enough, this dude knew everything about music. He knew who the fuck Rory Gallagher was, and when I showed him, he got really upset. You fucking millennial and your delicate sensibilities, you fucking whiner. You know, he's DJing CDs, and I don't know what the fuck the kid's doing, but
Dude, that reminds me of a shop. I was up in Milwaukee 5-6 years ago, and went to Rushmore. Actually, Corey just did that video on Rushmore, that shop up in Milwaukee. But it was right around the corner from there was this other place. They had all these vinyls when I walked in. And it was like, holy shit, man, this is awesome. And it was like dank and skank, and it was just like, this is an old ass shop. There's gonna be all kind of stuff in here. And dude, it's probably the same deal, like 50,000 records in there. And after about going through like 6 bins or whatever, it's like, well, this is just a goddamn Goodwill. That's about what was in like everything. I spent like a half hour and it was just like, I'm done. I walked out, didn't buy anything, but there was just records. Yeah, it was like awful. That was by far. I'm assuming that place isn't even there anymore. I don't know if somebody bought out a Goodwill or something, because actually they weren't even in bins. Everything was in like, boxes, but on tables where you could flip through everything, but they were just everywhere. It was like, yeah, somebody just bought records thinking they were worth something, and you got burnt, brother, because you ain't gonna sell any of this shit.
And then you get burned by standing in there for fucking half an hour, burning up your time finding nothing, you know? Exactly. It always amazes me that someone, especially nowadays, can really believe that they can make any money in selling records. I mean, if you're not doing it because you dig it and you're just hoping to pay your rent, I don't see people retiring off of selling records. I admire the people that keep them open, because what you do, George, is fucking important, man, for all those nanas that are going to bring their grandkids in there and stuff, and the people that love that and appreciate that kind of stuff. It's got to continue,
You gotta have
a shame. That's just quality of content,
You can't be in this game for the love of the money. You got to be in it for the love of the sport,
You got it.
All right, well, I don't know how the hell we got here.
How y'all dealing with your being shut in?
That's how it goes, man.
I got a new purchase.
I'm
if you don't mind.
Oh, you got new purchases? Well, to answer George's question,
oh shit, he's got
I'm
the
a contractor.
on the Greeno's house. Greeno got 72 roll pack.
Fucking A.
Holy shit, man.
Damn, that's a lot of shit. And I'm heading to your house.
Dude, it's out of control. I went to Target today and I walked in and they just put a pallet out. And I'm like, I'm gonna grab one. I mean, just make sure. It's almost like I had the frenzy like everybody else, I guess.
Wow.
So I go out and grab a couple other things, back in like 10 minutes, and it's gone. Like a whole pallet's gone. It's like, holy crap.
Well, I don't want to
wait. Is that your new purchase? Is that your new buy that you're? I thought you were going to show a record. You showed toilet paper.
I got the alcohol. Look at that fucking thing.
This is worth more than
I thought it was going to be a record.
Damn, you're good. You should be good to like August.
Oh yeah.
I just use my sock, man. Fuck it.
That's what I said. Fucking shit to shower.
Invest in brown socks.
Shower. That's what I said the other day.
Just wash your ass when you're done.
Yeah, just wash your ass.
Shit to shower.
That's all.
You don't have to worry about any toilet paper. The more I read into the CDC numbers on this thing, it's going to get pretty fucking bad here, I think, in the next 10 days.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The numbers are just going to spike like they're saying because they're testing now. So it's like,
yeah, and that's what people have to understand when they see the numbers on the news. Oh my God, there's 10 more cases in my county. Oh yeah, because there's 10 people just took the test, you know. Yeah. Like dude, anybody can have it.
What gets me is like, did you see the news tonight? Like in Florida, spring break, they're just down there partying their asses off, man. It's all these college kids, and they're interviewing them, and they're like, everybody's going to be fine. Everybody's going to get it. It's just it's just the flu, and yeah.
We're young.
I got a party.
We don't get it because we're young,
right?
Dude, I got to be honest. I would have done the same shit, man.
Yeah, but here's the thing: all those fucking college kids. College is out. Nobody's going back to school. When they're done partying in Florida, where are they going?
Home.
Back home to mom and dad and the grandparents.
Yeah, I never thought of that. That's right. Yeah. They're not even in school. No. Although, well, no, they are though, because my son's buddy just went back to finish this week.
Wow, he might be in the only school that's open, I think, dude. Because everywhere I've heard.
Oh, hold on one sec. Is he back in school or did he go back to work? Oh, okay. Never mind. My wife just said that he went back up there to work, but he's schooling from home.
Yeah, I don't think any are open. Some of them are doing, like you said, from home, but they're all.
Yeah, I just assumed that he went back up to go to school,
but if I was those kids' parents, like if my kid was down there doing that, and after they got home, I'd be like,
"Get a hotel room, bitch."
Yeah, you're not coming in here, bro.
I set you up a tent out back.
Yeah. I'll see you in a couple weeks, you little fucker.
Exactly.
spring break your ass out in the backyard.
Yeah. Rake the fucking leaves.
Yeah.
Back
while you're out there, clean up the dog shit.
Cranky old bastards.
My headspace right now is not the greatest, man, because I'm really like bumming. I'm not like a doomsday guy, but just looking at Italy and China and it's like, fuck, this is not going to be good. And it really could end a lot of fucking small businesses here in the States. Unless, like I said, the government does something. And I know like they're trying to give people, they're saying $1,000 a month for the next couple of months just to get people through, but we'll see.
I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
The government's just going to end up printing money to get us through this, and hopefully that doesn't sink us. But
we're already sunk anyway, man.
Yeah, I mean, we'll come out. But like we were talking before we started here, man, I think we're going to change after this. The way we do stuff's going to change after this.
Well, all the Trump bashing I did over the past 4 years, like I fucking hate the guy, man. But really, when you see him now, like I've really been paying attention to his last few speeches about this virus thing, because now he's starting to take it seriously. Mm-hmm. And now the look on his face when he's talking the last 2 days is kind of like a somber look, like he knows something's bad's coming, but he doesn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah, he doesn't have that cocky swagger thing.
Right. But see, everybody around him is guy's driving the fucking boat. You know what I mean? Like he's the guy, he's the leader of it all, but it's all the people that he surrounds himself with that gives him these stupid ideas and writes these stupid speeches for him. And then he gets off on these, he'll go off on his own because he thinks he's smart enough to do that, but he's not.
And he never is.
Yeah, but he gets himself in so much trouble from the left, like, because he opens his mouth. Like, look, I'm all about saying whatever the fuck you want to say. I don't like people. This is going to be terrible, man. And I don't know, but people were making such a big deal today about him calling it the Kung Flu, right?
Kung Flu? What?
No, you mean the China flu?
No, he called it the Kung Flu.
No,
he did. I know he called it the
God.
China flu.
Well, he's been calling it the China virus, right? Which I think, all right, it originated in China. We don't have to say the Chinese virus. Just say, we don't have to do that. But he does it.
Yeah.
But
funny as fuck though. He's such a spiteful little baby.
When I heard him, the report on was like ABC Nightly News tonight about him saying in the White House that it's the fucking
Kung Flu.
Kung Flu. I'm sorry, man. That I hate the fucking guy, but that was funny. That's pretty funny.
That's pretty good.
Kung Flu. Because then I thought I'm Kung Fluey.
That's it.
Kung Fluey.
But
I see some Halloween costumes being born.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of babies being born 9 months from now too.
Yeah, they must be getting ready for that shit.
They'll be called. I saw a meme. They're gonna call them the. What is not millennials, but it was like the fucking coronials or something. Coronials, that's what it was.
Coronials.
Yeah,
man.
I'm worried about the shop, and I'm worried. I'm not worried about my health. I'm not worried about my family's health because we're not going out anywhere. I mean, I don't think we've been anywhere or been with anybody that could have been exposed, but the way this thing takes, how long it takes to actually show up.
Yeah, summer 14 days.
Yeah, I could have been talking to somebody last week that was on a flight 2 weeks ago,
It's fucking scary, man. I'm a contractor. I'm a painter, house painter, so I gotta go to work.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I'm only dealing with one client. I deal with one person at a time. Unfortunately, this person dates someone that works in fucking Home Depot. So she tells me this later, and as she's walking, and I smell her. Oh no, I'm gonna die. Close enough to.
Hey, we're losing you, Aaron.
Gonna fucking be now, and I'm like,
hey,
she got me.
Aaron, we're losing you. You're like frozen.
All right, there he goes. He came back.
You were starting to talk about Home Depot, and you were cranky as fuck.
Hold on, we'll start again. Am I here?
Yeah, I think your video's frozen.
Am I here?
You look really stoned, man.
Oh,
it's good freeze, if nothing else.
No.
It's a nice picture.
Not me. Come on.
That's even better. That picture's even better.
I was telling you.
What?
All right, I'm trying.
Your audio's back at least.
Yeah, the audio's back.
Okay.
It was.
Yeah, he must be like, it's weird. Sometimes you get those hot spots that come and go.
Yeah.
He'll be back.
Yeah.
That was funny, man.
He's all.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Dude, while he's getting back in here, I
forgot to look at all the comments, man.
Have you ever seen this? Heart beeps?
Yes.
Oh my God.
That's, Andy Kaufman and
what the hell was her name? Bernadette Peters.
Bernadette Peters, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Am I back? Am I back?
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
back.
you're back.
I like bad movies,
back.
but this is awful, dude.
No, that's a terrible movie. Yeah.
Oh my God. You ever seen that, Aaron? Heart Beeps?
No.
It's awful. It's not bad good. It's like awful. Some like 81 with Andy Kaufman.
Yeah, that was his
Oh.
first feature film, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's a robot. Yeah, I think it was his one and only. Him and Bernadette Peters are robots that fall in love.
It's terrible.
What could go wrong with that?
Where'd I get cut off?
You were ranting about somebody working at Home Depot.
Yeah, Home Depot.
Yeah, my client's boyfriend works at Home Depot. I didn't find out till later, obviously, that he's working around a bunch of people too. So I was getting a little worried.
Yeah.
You know, because it's not just one I thought it was just one person, but it's a bunch. So I guess that's just kind of take it as it comes, man. If you can keep your distance, keep clean, and
I'm still working.
you know, try not to get too close if you can help it.
Yeah, my oldest son's still working. He works for Oliver Heating and Cooling, so he's like you, one-on-one, you know, with a client during the day, but he stays away from them. So,
Right.
and now they just changed. Starting next week, he's only working Monday through Friday, 10 to 5, until this thing's over with.
Hmm.
Wow.
So, but they're laying off people left in fucking Philly airport. Just laid off like 300 people.
Wow.
Or 200 or something like that. My wife told me, because there's just nobody flying right now.
That's like I'm in like a catch-22. It's like I don't want to be working.
Yeah,
At the same time, I want to be working. You know what I mean? It's like, but I'm in there and I'm like, God damn, I don't want to be around these people. You know, I stay in my little office thing and yeah, call me if you need something, kind of thing. It's nuts, man.
yeah. Like I, you know, when we were deciding to close, I was surprised. Like I didn't want to close. I'm like, let's just do it like we know the person at the door. If they come and knock, and we'll let them in.
Yeah.
Dave's like looks at it because Dave just lost his pop a couple weeks ago. So Dave looks at him. He's like, fuck it, let's just close. I'm like, dude, that could be the nail in the coffin. He's like, what are we gonna do? We can't stop it. And now today with Wolf saying that everybody has to close now. So, but I don't know. Does that mean just everybody has to close by 8:00 on, or does that mean everybody has to close from now on?
I think they're closed from now on.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
So,
That's crazy.
Yeah, pretty scary, man. Scary time.
I never thought we'd see anything like this shit, but
yeah, it's the biggest thing in our lives, probably. Biggest event.
yeah, I thought 9/11 was pretty fucking big, but this is like that almost, but times like 10.
Yeah.
Not to take anything away from all the people that were lost on 9/11, but this is like a whole different feel. Like that was like a sudden attack, like surprise attack all of a sudden.
This is like
it's like impending doom.
Yeah. This is like 9/11 rolled in together with the Great Recession and the space shuttle blowing up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, it's like, let's put everything together.
It's just made everything really, in all reality, it made everything fucking just stop.
Yeah. I told my wife, it's like somebody just hit the fucking pause button on society.
Maybe that's what we needed.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what we need.
Maybe.
We are getting, you know, there's a lot of fucking jerk offs in this world, more than ever.
Yeah.
It seems like. And he's trying to see, he goes on the rants and gets mad and fuck this, that. I start getting mad. He starts rubbing toilet paper because he knows that'll make me laugh.
I have to keep that here from now on.
He'd be like, George, look, toilet paper. I'll be like, what was I talking about?
All right, let's get back to some music here.
Yeah.
Man. Now, I know, Aaron, you're like a big 70s guy. From like knowing you over the years, you're definitely into the heavy 70s sound and stuff and all that. So we were talking about maybe pull them out. I didn't know if you pulled anything out the show or talk about or.
I did. I pulled out. Well, I got some live. Here, let me pull this out. There you go.
It's a good album.
Band called Phoenix. This album I really like, and I only found it because I follow John Verity, obviously that sings on here, and we know him from Argent. You know, he sang in Argent. He did the high pitched backup screaming on Hold Your Head Up and all that stuff. So he's got an amazing voice. I'm still trying to find his original, his first solo release, just entitled John Verity. It's so fucking hard to find. It's really hard to find, and it's really expensive if you do find it. And it's a really solid album. This Phoenix album.
They were a power trio, right?
Yeah,
I have that. I haven't heard it for a while.
Yeah. And same with this. It's another trio with this band here, and it's hard. It's solid. It's solid rock. It's solid 70s rock.
Yeah,
I wouldn't call it heavy.
Mm-hmm.
I'd call it good, solid 70s rock. Now I just back that up with something that's really insane. That's Screaming Lord Such. This is a recent spin. So yeah, and his heavy friends, which we know among people are Jeff Beck and John Bonham and Jimmy Page. And I wouldn't call this an awesome album. He's not a great singer, and the songs aren't particularly breathtaking or anything, but there's just something about it. It's kind of locked into a certain place and time, and I don't know. It's got a good feel. It's fun. Maybe that's what it is. I think it's really fun.
A fun record for sure.
Dude, have you ever heard?
And that's rock.
Have you ever heard,
dude.
Hall?
Oh yeah, I know Parish Hall. As a matter of fact, I was telling you that Parish Hall is being repressed for RSD.
Is that the one you sent me? I can't remember.
That's the. I told you about two of them, but the Parish Hall is one of the ones on my RSD list. I got to have that, man.
Oh,
and it's low. It's a low press too. That might have been the 500 one.
Wow. George,
I love Parish Hall,
dude. Is that like a total John Travolta?
I thought it was more like a fucking religious Christian record or something.
Kind of Arlo Guthrie, windswept hair look.
Do you remember Gardner on the VC? You know, the guy out in California. He was showing a bunch of 70s stuff, and he showed that one time and talking about how great it was. So I checked it out online. And was like, wow. Because if I was digging, I would totally pass this up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is a reissue on
looking like a Goodwill.
Yeah. And it's
very unassuming, and it's got some of the greatest rock and blues rock ever on it, man. Solid.
Three-piece, 1970, I think it come out, man. It's killer stuff, man.
So fucking great guitar work on there. Really good.
I'll have to look for that.
Good choice. That's a really good choice, man. Yeah. Wow.
George, what did you send me? I was trying to remember it, and I can't remember it now. On CD, it was killer. It was a dude's name, something band. You sent me a copy on CD.
Shit, man. Jim Jones Review?
No, it was an old 70s. I wanted to pull it out, and I couldn't remember the name of the damn band.
Oh, I know what you mean. Eric something. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's a white album cover.
Yeah. Damn, and I was hoping you could remember it. I can't remember it either, man. But it was
like Eric something. It's like a guy's name, but it's not. Nobody in the band is named that. But it's like 3 words.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. It was Eric, like some dude's name, first name, last name, band. So, anyways, right on a tangent. I was trying to remember it. I was going to pull it out and check it out. I haven't listened to it.
I could see it. It's Eric. Fuck, Eric something.
We got too much shit.
I know. I haven't. God damn. Eric. I can't remember. I'm drawing a blank. It'll hit me at like 4:00 in the morning when I get up to take a piss.
Text me.
Yeah. I think I texted you at 6:30 this morning. Like, yo, what band are we doing tonight?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm up at 5:00 every morning.
Same here.
I go to bed like I'll go to bed in between 10 and 11, and then like I'll look at the clock at 5 o'clock, and I'm like, all right, I'm getting up because it's gonna be nice and quiet in the house for like the next 4 hours. So I make coffee, wake and bake, wake coffee, make coffee and smoke a joint. It's the best.
Give me one.
Oh,
George said, "Oh,
just earned an X rating on this podcast.
Yep. Where is she?
There you go.
Yeah.
See you. Night.
Night.
Keep your fucking giggling hen party down.
Yeah.
God damn.
George said, "Yeah."
Cackling hens.
Tell them I'm an asshole.
They can hear you.
Oh, good. Good.
Did you take the little one out?
No, that's your job. You took vacation. You
Oh,
lazy-
that's your job.
Huh?
That's your job.
That's my job.
Fucking Western PA.
Watch out,
that.
George.
Western PA fuckers.
He said, "You fucking
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You fuckers.
Jersey flunkies.
Jersey funk."
I'm not Jersey. I'm feeling close enough. We're like the
Hey.
same. We're one.
Isn't he?
What's
I'm
that?
Jersey.
Western Pennsylvania.
Yeah, his wife's from Western PA.
Johnstown, yeah.
He knows what they're like.
Yeah. Oh, fucking.
She's fucking awesome. I can't wait to party with her, man. We've been saying it for like 8 years now, but now that the kids are getting bigger, we'll be having free time.
I got to get back up there. Shit, man. 3 of us hook up too. Get
Yeah.
going or something.
Fuck
We'll have
yeah,
to wait.
man.
We might have to use hazmat suits, but
Maybe I can come up on Record Store Day.
yeah, I'll be you.
I'm totally.
I'll be the one in the spacesuit.
Yeah, take me to your leader.
You'll recognize me.
Like, yo, where's that fucking pattern? Oh, there he goes. He'll have
There
that.
he goes
back to
again.
his back.
Trying to start a fight.
He'll be like, look what
What
I
about
got.
you, George? Got any 70s picks, George?
The only thing I picked out that I was been listening to a lot lately is the Juicy Lucy stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
The first album, and I think this is their third album. Get a whiff of this.
Right on. I have the first one. I don't think I have that one.
Yeah, they do a killer version of Midnight Rider from the Allman Brothers on here, but Juicy Lucy's like that really bluesy, hard rock, more blues based than anything, but I always really liked that band. That and I just found a copy of the second album on vinyl. I haven't listened to that yet, but that was one of those things like in a record store that I ain't gonna find anything here. And I flipped through and there's the second Juicy Lucy record, like $7.99. I was like, fuck yeah, all right. But there was one other band. The one band I couldn't find I have the reissue of it, but my music room's in disarray right now. But I can't think of the name of the band. Fuck. But they were like in the same vein, real bluesy, hard rock from the same label, I think, even. Damn. Yeah, I was pissed. I thought it was sitting here with these two. But I have like that band Pussy too.
Yeah, that's a killer record.
Yeah. I like that. I've been trying to get that on vinyl. They reissued that on vinyl. I think it was one of the mail.
Shadow Kingdom.
Yeah, Shadow Kingdom.
Yeah, I just got it from.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, they still have them in stock. They did.
I was getting them from our distributor, but he never got them in from him. So, because I wanted to bring a couple in for the store because that's kind of a decent piece to have for us,
You can get it direct from Shadow Kingdom, but I don't think it was too pricey. It seemed like it was $17 or $18.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right, maybe I'll just go there. Even if I got to price it a couple bucks. I mean, we only price like when we get new shit in, we only price it $2 or $3 just to cover the shipping anyway, because we're not gonna fucking make any money off it.
Now, if you order that, you got to grab a couple of Truth and Janies too, man.
Oh yeah, dude.
I haven't heard that yet.
Hell
man.
yeah.
You guys are all up on that record for years now.
Yeah, that's a good album, man. And
Yeah.
Shadow also put out a double live of them from back in the day,
Wow.
70.
What,
band.
Truth and Genie?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get all that from.
Yeah, Erupts.
Not, I keep saying Shadow Kingdom.
You got that right.
No, it's not. It's not Hell's Head. It's the other one.
Rocket Drum.
Yes, Rocket Drum.
Yep, that's it, man.
All right,
Love
Bob.
that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the one.
I want the studio one too. I like that one. That's actually one of the guys that I'm trying to work on to get on the Mount Rushmore interview show I got.
That's cool. Yeah, the one you did
Billy
with,
Lee.
The one with Gustafson.
Yeah, I did.
Cuba. That's cool.
I did Pooh Bah, Jim from Pooh Bah,
Oh, cool.
and I interviewed Bang from Philadelphia.
I haven't
They're up
listened
on
to that.
my channel. The Mount Rushmore of underground rock. You can check it out at Channel Bizzarro. There's a couple there. I'm working on some newer bands. I'm trying to get them in, and I'm messaging back and forth with Wino, Scott Weinrich. He's touring right now, so maybe he's not actually, but I got to catch him when he's got some time. But that's going to be one that I'm looking forward to as well.
Cool.
So yeah, they're pretty good interviews, comprehensive,
Yeah, that's cool.
start to finish kind of thing.
Yeah, the one with
check
Jim
it
was
out.
awesome.
Yeah, I gotta watch the one with Bang.
It was good. They know how to talk. They know their story, and I didn't have to prompt them very much to get it. So they're good guys, man. They know how to talk, and they know what they want to say, which is always good for a nice flow in an interview, especially an hour and a half. It's actually 2 hours and 20 minutes. By the time I edited all the shit out, it was about an hour and a half, I think, now.
Wow.
So
That's like
I'll
Jim,
tell you
man.
where
He
they started
can
and where
go
they
on.
ended.
I said Jim can go on forever.
Yeah, because he's basically Pooh Bah himself. So,
Yeah.
Jim Gustafson can hire anybody and still be Pooh Bah because he's Pooh Bah.
Every time I hear Pooh Bah,
Yeah.
I think of the Flintstones.
the Grand Pooh Bah with the hat, the tassel hat, right?
The horns.
Yep. Yeah, he's got a story where that name came from.
That's funny.
Something back in high school, somebody was named Pooh Bah. I think it was a girl. I think that's the story he told me, that there was this girl in his high school. I think her name was, they nicknamed her Pooh Bah or something, and she used to beat all the boys up or something. I'm pretty sure he told me about Pooh Bah, and she had a knife or something. She was going to stab him or something like that.
Jesus.
I think that's where Pooh Bah came from. I always thought the same thing George thought. I thought it was Flintstones reference or something.
Yeah.
Or from the under, what's the Masons or something? Maybe the Freemasons had a Pooh Bah or something.
Well, I have, now that I think about it, now that being quarantined, I have all the seasons of the Flintstones. I'm going to have to start watching them since they're not on TV.
Yeah.
Me TV's actually showing them now. I don't know if you get that station.
Yeah, but I never, every time I flip on it, it's some stupid Western show like Bonanza or fucking or Pile or something, man.
I think they're showing them at like 6 o'clock or something every evening. I think so.
Right. Like, I love when they do like the Three's Company marathon and shit. I'm all about that. Like, they fucking Bonanza and like Little House on the Prairie, you can stick that shit up your ass.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I am not a Western guy at all, man. Like my
TV
dad,
work.
I think because when I was little, like my dad used to watch that shit all the time, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is like the same show every week.
I'm not a fan of the TV ones, but I have become a fan of the old.
Oh yeah, no, that's movies are like night and day, yeah. Compared to TV, but that's like the one I remember. One of the first movies like my dad and I, first westerns my dad and I watched was like some old John Wayne film, and like 2 minutes into the film, we were just laughing hysterically at the fight scene in it. Because it was like an early John Wayne one, so it was old, and they were like throwing punches that were like 6 feet away from people.
No connection at all.
No, none at all. And the one we were cracking up. It was supposed to be John Wayne. He's like riding on horseback. He's like flying, and all of a sudden he dives off his horse and flies through this window. like this small ass house window. And I looked at my dad because the guy that jumped through the window, either it was obviously a fucking double or it was a mannequin. And I'm pretty sure it was a mannequin. Because we were both fucking hysterical laughing after. I'm like, wow, that looks really bad. Whatever. I couldn't tell you.
People were easily entertained back then.
Yeah. I don't know what movie it was, but I remember just sitting there and both of us saw him fly through the mannequin fly through the window. And we're like, holy shit, we got to watch the rest of this now.
Hey, talking about movies, have you guys
There are
seen this?
some bad fight scenes out there.
No, you were telling me about that though. Is it good?
Oh, this is great, man. Have you seen this, Aaron?
Oh wow. No, but it's on demand and it's rentable now, so it's on my list.
It's very good, man. It's like
I love that kind of shit too, man. The whodunit type of thing.
Yeah,
So
and it's
cool.
an old school whodunit. And I am totally not a fan of what's his name that plays James Bond now, because he's the star guy in this. What the hell's his name? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that dude.
Yeah, exactly.
That fucking dude.
Yeah.
What
I'm
guy?
not a fan.
What dude?
The guy that plays James Bond now.
The fucking dude.
Oh, did Craig something?
That dude.
You don't like him as
Craig T.
Bond?
Nelson.
Craig T. Nelson.
Yeah.
Craig T. Nelson. Coach is in there.
That's it. No, I don't like him as Bond at all.
No? Oh, I think he's great.
Well, for first off,
He was
doesn't-
fucking terrible on Saturday Night Live. Did you catch that? It was fucking
he doesn't
horrible.
have- he doesn't have any cars that can dive off of a pier and turn into a submarine. I haven't seen that yet.
Done.
Here he goes. People,
He hasn't been into space.
wait. Hit your record buttons now. All right, go. Go, Greedo.
Fuck this guy.
He was red. Come on, I want to hear the red.
No,
Fucking James Bond doesn't have cars that float underwater anymore.
yeah, that's the problem.
So that's it.
Problem.
He doesn't have a car that
He
goes
doesn't.
underwater.
He doesn't have a briefcase that he can open up and turn into a one-seat helicopter and take off after everybody.
Fucking go catch a copter.
Exactly.
Jesus.
But all the fun's out of it. I mean, the new
Oh, I
James
know.
Bonds to me are just action movies. They're just like
Yeah.
all the other movies.
I get what you mean. They made it way too serious now.
Yeah, no, give me I like Roger Moore just as much as I liked Connery. Both of them were just
Yeah, they were both great.
Moonraker is the dumbest goddamn movie, but I love it.
Oh, fucking
you know,
love it. Me and my
That's the
dad
one with the
always-
submarine car, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, he
That's the
yeah,
one.
Jaws. He fight through it.
But
That
anyways,
was
but yeah,
my dad and I's first Bond film in the theater was that one.
Moonraker?
Yep.
Dude,
Yep.
that might have been mine too. And
Yeah.
I think that's why I got a soft spot for it.
My dad, he's like, I remember like he used to watch Mike Hammer. Do you remember Mickey Spillane's
Oh,
Mike
yeah.
Hammer? It was on Saturday night.
Keaton, what's his name? Keaton was what's his name
Yeah,
from
Stacy Keach was the
Stacy? Right, Keith.
Yeah.
Right.
The guy with the,
Danko.
Yeah, Stanko. So he
Yeah.
we would watch it was on Saturday night. So we'd watch that. My dad, I got into like the mystery shit of it. So my dad's like, "Oh, you might like James Bond," and I'm like, "What the hell is that?" I don't know if you remember, like when we were kids, like a Bond film on TV was kind of a big deal. Like ABC, like Sunday night was like 2 weeks from tonight. You know, Doctor No's going to be on ABC for the Sunday night movie, and everybody was like, "Fuck yeah, we're gonna watch James Bond." You know.
right.
It was weird, like how big he was at one point, like the character in the movies were at one point here, and he got me into it when I was little. And like I said, I think it was like summer or Christmas that year when Moonraker came out that he took me to see it, and I fucking loved it. And it's the dumbest one of them all, but
It's
I love that film.
James Bond in space, man.
It probably sucks ass now. Like I haven't seen it in like 20 years, but
All the things that Greeno loves about James Bond is in that one movie.
It is.
All his criteria is in that one fucking
you
movie.
got the space shuttle, you got a fucking
Underwater car,
Yeah, underwater car. You got sharks with freaking lasers on their heads.
right?
That's James Bond.
My favorite James Bond scene is when he picks up the dude in the wheelchair, the bald guy in the helicopter. He scoops him up in the helicopter and drops him down the smokestack. It was like For Your Eyes Only, the beginning.
I don't know if I remember that.
Remember how like the movies would always start with like a mini, I don't know, mini telling of a mini story of something, and that one was from one of the old films. It was the bald, kind of like the Dr. Evil character.
Yeah.
The bald dude with the chair with the cat. He was in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of this film, he was on some rooftop and Bond comes in with that chopper.
Yeah.
And the guy takes off in the wheel, like an electric wheelchair, and he's like flying down this one part of this rooftop or street. And Bond comes down and gets underneath the chair with the landing strips, the landing gears of the helicopter, and picks him up, flies him over a smokestack, and drops his ass down into the smokestack.
That's what's wrong with the new film. There's no Jaws in the new films.
They might. They'll bring him. He's dead though.
They can get some.
Needed Jaws in every movie.
Wasn't it like
he was in Happy Gilmore, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Do you remember him?
I'll see you in the parking lot.
Do you remember Jaws biting through that metal cable?
That was my favorite.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, man.
God. And he had the little. Is that the one where he had that little ass girlfriend with him? He fell in love with that little skinny ass chick.
That's in every movie.
No, I mean that Jaws, like Jaws, like
the Asian chick.
Yeah, the Asian chick. No, he fell in love with that little skinny blonde girl, and then I think he ended up helping Bond at the end of that film, didn't he?
I can't remember.
I think he did. I think I'm
gonna have to watch some James Bond movies now.
I know Daniel Craig was in that remake of Body Snatchers. You guys see that? The Invasion, I think it was called.
Do you guys know that record by Terrence, where the dude is holding a shotgun?
Terrence and Phillip?
I don't know.
Terrence and Phillip from South Park.
Yeah. Is that who he's talking about?
I don't know.
What are you reading? I'm not seeing anything.
Every time I hear Terrence, I think of Terrence and Phillip.
We have a live chat thing here. You might not see it on your phone.
We always forget to look at the chat, too. Like, fucking Corey was here, and Aaron was here.
Oh, wait a minute. No, I just disappeared. What the fuck?
Sorry, dudes. But they all said...
Hey, you can highlight comments and bring it up on the screen.
Oh, yeah, you can. Oh, shit.
There you go.
I didn't know you could do that, Greeno. Thanks for telling me that the whole time.
Oh, cool, man.
How's it going, you dirty bastards? Figures I picked that first one.
He's probably already gone.
Yeah. Well, now if he watches this, now we're doing good, Aaron. How are you, you dirty bastard?
Yeah.
Do you know, did his son go overseas or is he back? Did he come home?
I talked to him yesterday. I think he just got home yesterday.
Oh, he is home? Good.
Yeah.
Like,
he's in Alaska, or he was heading to Alaska. He might be back in school.
He was staying up there for a while, though, right? Yeah. So, but now he did. Yeah, he came home. Good. He's better off being home.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We'll show this one, dude. This is fun, man. I didn't know you could light it up. Yeah. All right, everybody that's watching, come back and comment so we can light it up. This is the Terrence and Phillip question. We don't know.
I'm not sure what he's talking about.
You guys know the record by Terrence. Let me hold on. I can
Terrence Darby.
Hold on one second.
Trent Darby. I was just gonna say that.
We got to wrap up soon, dude. It's been almost 2 hours.
No, that was a quick 2 hours, man.
It's a new record, right?
No, I don't know, man. I don't see any Terrence.
Did we only get 2 comments in the whole show?
Nah, there's like 5.
Okay. Oh, 5. Oh shit. I was worried we didn't get enough.
It was late tonight. Usually we have 6.
Yeah,
I was thinking 2. That's not enough, but 5. We need to just comment ourselves, fill it up with our own comments.
Yeah.
Nice beard, bro. Yeah, thanks, bro. You too.
It's the beard channel.
Beards are us.
Yeah. I love this podcast.
Hey, I got to agree.
Is anybody even watching? Can you tell how many people are watching right now?
We had 6, but now there's only 2.
Poor guys.
They we're 2 hours deep. Either the other 4 people fell asleep and their phones turned off, or they.
I'll tell you what, for the two people watching, get a hold of Nathan Morales, and he's going to send you a shirt. But not really. I saw Nathan Morales is making videos again. Did you see that? Remember Nathan? He shows the psych stuff and all.
Mm-mm.
No,
Man,
I know
he
that
had
this contest. You probably saw he collect all the psych stuff and everything.
I'll have to look it up.
But he's all right.
it's been a while. I'm starting to forget some of the names from the VC and all that. Other than
I'm
the ones
starting
you
to forget every
yesterday.
day. Yeah.
What? Who are you? Where am I? What is this?
Where am I? He's stuck in his walk-in closet.
Well, I'm stuck in a pantry. Help!
All right. I can't take this anymore.
Yep. He's good. We better go before Greeno goes on another tear.
Yeah, I don't need to hear any more about submarines or fucking record store day.
Whatever.
There's the title of his book, Submarines and Record Store Day.
Hey, that's
Big
the title
middle
of
finger.
Yeah.
And also, fuck you, Daniel Craig, right?
Yeah.
Daniel T. Nelson. Fuck you.
You Craig and Daniel Nelson Craig.
Go back and coach.
Damn, dude.
Hey, that should be the
Throwing
name
up
of
a
this
seal.
episode.
What's that?
He threw that fucking
Submarines.
seal up. Remember he threw that thing
I
up?
will. I'm gonna title this episode "Submarines and Record Store Day." People look at it and go, "What the fuck were they talking about?"
With special guest, MrBizzarro.
Yep.
Awesome, man. It's been cool. It's been
blast,
fun.
dude. Yeah, we'll have you back.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
we were talking, we can get more than just the 3 of us. We can get up to 6 people in this bastard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all we need. That's all we need.
Cool.
6 people stepping on each other at the same time.
Yeah, I think we would get a lot of washout with the microphones.
Somebody's going to have a bad mic. It's going to get that yak, 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 yak.
We're gonna have to time it. Like, all right, 30 seconds. Go.
Right. We'll make some pulpits to stand in front of.
It's a great record debate.
Sorry, guys.
Colored or black?
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thanks for coming on, man. It was cool.
Yeah, blast.
My pleasure.
Definitely do.
Anytime.
Once everything settles down, we'll have to hook up and go digging.
Oh yeah.
Definitely, man. Definitely. That sounds great, man. Thanks.
You got it, man. Thanks for coming. We'll see y'all soon.
Later.
My
Peace.
pleasure. Take care, guys.
See ya.
Hold on there.